Hello, I'm on here today to share a little bit about the process of cutting the imagery up, replacing it with the magazine paper. A lot of times I'll show this part of the process early on, and then I do a time lapse because it's pretty boring. I'm just taking a piece of paper off, cutting that same shape in the magazine paper, and then replacing it. And the color's face down on the panel, so I'm going to pan down here so you can see what I'm working on. And you can see this is pretty far along. This is a guitar, you can't tell. And I'm going to finish up these knobs here. I've got two of the three done. This one here has got just a few more pieces of paper I need to cut to replace. And then the autograph that's on the guitar, I'm going to do that in some blue. And then I got to do the strings. And then this one will be ready for me to burnish and sand. So I figure I'll do a shorter video instead of doing the whole process like I've done the last few times, and just focus on one step, which is probably one of the most important, me choosing magazine pages, colors, and stuff to choose for the composition. And then how some of them can be very tedious. They're not fun to do, but I've, I've found if I force myself to slow down and use this knife right here to cut in some of the smaller details, it makes a huge difference on the overall composition and how well the image comes across in the painting. So I'm going to pan down here again, and I'm just going to cut a couple pieces to show you, this part of the process, and then we'll end it there and come back when we do the other parts of the process, finish up the painting. All right, so let's just go down here where you can see a little bit closer. And you can see here, these knobs on this guitar are white. And when I'm doing a composition that has white in it, I'll choose magazine paper that's got a tint of color. Solid white, I might as well not even replace the paper. I could just take it off and bam, there you go. You're going to see the beeswax. What I like to do is put some grays or some really light browns, a beige color, in those areas where it's white. And then if I take a tool later after the magazine paper's off, I can scrape away that ink, that little bit of gray or whatever that's on top, and to make it brighter, more white. But if I don't have anything down, then I can't adjust that density of the ink. So I always start with some ink. Well, most of the time, sometimes I'll do solid white. But anyhow, let's start here. I've got this little part of the base of the knob. This is one of the tone knobs on the guitar. And so I've taken the template and cut that same shape in the magazine paper. The color I want is that really light, it's a beige color. You can't hardly tell on the camera, I'm sure. And I'm just going to put it in place of where that template came off. And press it down with my knife. And then I'm going to work my way around. Some of these pieces are so tiny. I mean, that's not as small as some of the numbers I had to cut. I didn't show that part. Again, this is probably a little overboard. I'm being super detailed, but I want this to be a really good painting. And like I said, that little bit extra time cutting these smaller pieces can sometimes make a huge difference. That's what I'm going for. Huge. I'm going to stick with, actually, now that I'm on that bottom section, I'm going to do some of this grayer coloring. And it also depends on what part of the composition I'm working. If I want to use the solid, or if I want to incorporate some text from the magazine. Because these letters, or the numbers on the tone volume is so little, I don't want to take away from that. So like that little hole right there in this piece of paper is one of the volume notches. So I'm just going to use solid grayish ink to put in that place. No color. I've got to be careful too. I've already cut all those little tiny numbers for the volume, and it's easy to pop them up. Don't want to lose them. I worked hard to put them there. All right, this will be the last one for this video. And we'll come back later and do the burnishing and the sanding. And then the fun part, removing that ink, revealing the colors. It's going to be awesome, I hope. Okay. I'll be back here shortly, and we'll burnish, sand, and remove the paper and get ready for the varnish. Thanks for watching.